I was born in New York City 52 years ago. I was educated in public and parochial schools, Catholic schools. I was a journalist for almost 15 years, living in different cities in the United States, working for National Public Radio. And then I decided I wanted to change my life. And so I quit reporting and went to graduate school. And this is chapter 2 of me as professor. It is chapter 2 of my life, in a way, my professional life, for sure. I think it's one of the least understood areas of U.S. life, race and class issues. Class we never talk about. We almost don't have the word class in U.S. English. And because it's not discussed a lot in the popular culture, I like to suggest it to young people and to my graduate students who are older, that maybe we should think about these issues, you know, and here's some ways to think about them, you know, and it's stuff that's near and dear to me as a colored girl, but it's also stuff that I find communication issues that discuss race and class get at the big kind of unresolved issues in the culture or in the society. I'm very sad that Latinos in the U.S. and in Texas are, you know, according to the Census Bureau, the poorest of the poor. Meaning there are more poor Latinos than there are poor African Americans, than there are poor whites, etc. I think that's sad but understandable, largely because of continuing immigration. That many people who immigrate here, legally or illegally, don't have a lot of education, don't have a lot of resources. National Public Radio, the New York Times, the Austin American Statesman, in that order. I rely on NPR for a lot because it's convenient. I can listen to it when I'm stuck in traffic, you know, and they're my former employer, and they're so good at what they do. I've continued to have a lot of respect for them. The Austin American Statesman because I live here, you know, and so I'm interested in local news. And the Times because their presentation of the nation and the world, I think, is the most complete. Online, that's where I do most of my research, but not routinely. What do TV? I do watch the Noticiero Univision as often as I can, the national newscast of the Univision network. Because the point of view presented in Spanish language news is so different than that presented in English. I watch CNN, and you know, but I appreciate that Univision is bringing a world to me that I wouldn't hear about if I just Latin America, for instance, if I just consumed English language news. How often do you hear about Latin America in non-Spanish language news in the United States? You just don't. It's important, I think. Those of us who can, who have a heritage tie to the Spanish language, that we maintain it. I think it's nuts. In most other places of the world, the educated classes speak more than one language. That's not true in the States. That they can talk about race and class, which is something that most of us who grew up here don't know how to do. That's all. That the students are comfortable with the idea of looking at their world in these ways. And for communication students, it's particularly important, I think. Media studies students, because these are the issues that they're, you know, what Hollywood is all about, what film is all about, as well as other media. They may not use the words race and class, but those are the stories that are being explored, whether it's in journalism or in fictional media.